talking about the total cost of producing a given quantity of television sets. Eventually, you're going to want to figure out whether your operation is profitable or not. And in order to figure that out, you're going to need to compare the money that you earn from selling a television set with the cost of producing the television set. In order to find the cost of producing an individual television set, you're going to need a new cost concept, and that is the concept of average total cost. Average total cost is the total cost of producing television sets divided by the number produced. It tells you the labor cost as well as the cost of all of the other materials that go into making an individual television set. Average total cost. Average total cost is defined as total cost of production divided by the number of units of output produced. Let's look at some numbers. We've calculated the total cost of producing any given number of television sets. For example, if you produce 2 television sets, you're going to have a total cost of $11,000, $1,000 for labor and $10,000 for fixed costs. If you divide $11,000 by 2 television sets, you find out that the total cost on average is $5,500. That is, it costs $5,500 when you're producing 2 television sets to produce 1 television set. $5,500 is the average total cost. Well, you can follow this logic on down the page and calculate the average total cost when you're producing 10, 30, 40, 45, and so forth. So the first method of calculating average total cost is to take the total cost of production and divide by the number of television sets produced. There's also another way of calculating average total cost, and this one is going to turn out to be useful to us in a minute when we derive the average total cost curve graphically. Remember, total cost can be broken into 2 components, fixed cost and variable cost. If you think about it, fixed cost and variable cost can both be divided by the total number of units of output, just like we can divide the total cost by the total number of units of output. Total cost divided by the total output is equal to average total cost. But you know that the total cost is just equal to the variable cost, that is the cost of the labor that goes into production, plus the fixed costs, the costs of the fixed inputs. Well, if we divide both sides of this equation by the total number of television sets produced, you can see another way, a way that might be easier sometimes, of calculating average total cost. Divide both sides by the total number of televisions produced, that is the total product, and you get this. Total cost divided by total product is equal to variable cost divided by total product plus fixed cost divided by total product. But you know what these 2 terms are. Each of these terms has its own definition. Variable cost divided by total product is what? That's right, it's the average variable cost. And fixed cost divided by total product is what? It's the average fixed cost. So the total cost on average, the average total cost, is equal to the average variable cost plus the average fixed costs. Now you can see that if we look at our numbers. Average variable cost is right here. Average fixed cost is right here. And here's our schedule that tells us how many televisions we're producing. If we put all of these together, and I don't want the marginal cost curve at all, that's the curve I don't want. The curve that I want is average total cost, which I've put over here. Look, in each case, the average total cost of producing a given number of television sets is equal to the average variable cost plus the average fixed cost. 200 plus 1,000 is 1,200. 111 plus 222 is equal to 333. By way of summary, let me say this. There are 2 ways of calculating the average total cost. One is taking the total cost and dividing by total output. The other way is to add together the average variable cost and the average fixed costs. That gives you average total costs. Now, we'll represent all of these curves together in a single graph. We'll put the average variable cost curve together with the average fixed cost curve and derive the average total cost curve. And the method that we'll use is the method of vertical summation, the same method we used a little while ago when we first drew the total cost curve.